Zeros. Hello, and we're live again. This will be a fun one. Just give us a minute and we'll get started. Hello, Gaurav. How's it going, man? Looking crispy with the new haircut. Thanks, man. You already have a viewer. That's very great to see. Stick in because this will be a fun one. Yes, we're live and running. I'm just trying to get Gurjinder on board, and he'll be here anytime soon. Just 1 second. Yes, he's here. How's it going? Can you hear me all right?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I can hear you pretty well.
That's good to hear. The only thing is, today I'm having to handle everything with my mousepad. Because,
Oh, okay.
yeah, one USB is handling the mic, one USB is handling the light. So that
I see, I see.
it is what it is. We gotta do what you gotta do. With that, today is a
Oh,
very
that's right.
interesting one, which is AI. As designers, it's not our favorite subject. We like kind of, running away from it. And an interesting one to talk about. Let's see. We'll try and get more people. Yep. Yes. Especially because, studying it as well. So it'll be, in a way, easier for me to kind of let people know how things work. I'll open up some resources which will be helpful so that people can visually watch it. I'll watch the recording tomorrow. Have a great day. Good night, Gaurav. Sad to see you go, but sure. Thanks, buddy.
All right.
Well,
Yes. The one
we had
time we
one friend
have one
and
of
he
your
left.
friends, it's nighttime for you.
Yes. Mhm. Exactly.
And this is a morning time coffee chat live stream. This isn't what you're gonna find across YouTube. This is pretty
Exactly.
unique.
You won't find designers talking about AI anyways because they're scared or they don't know about
Yeah.
it. So stick around.
Yeah.
Should we try and kind of
Causes too much debate.
too much? Yeah, surely. Because it's very new as well. And there's just so
That's
many
right.
things happening. People are always kind of flabbergasted. And every week there's something. So it's even difficult for me to catch up in a way. But there's things that we can talk about, of course. And we'll do that. Before we start it, how about we take a minute and see if some people join in?
Okay, now it's working. I hear it.
That's what,
Okay. Maybe in the beginning it wasn't, but
yeah.
now it sounds good.
All right. Cool. Hello, 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 hello.
Let's get to it.
We'll get into it.
Hello,
I've
everybody.
actually tried to get more people on board. Let's see if people join in. That'll be fun. I'll also do some sort of a live, which is, live streaming till I reach 200 subscribers or something like a sprint. I'll just eat lots of caffeine,
Right.
drink lots of caffeine, and just stay live. Keep critiquing design.
That's right.
Maybe
That's
tomorrow.
the way to do
Maybe
it.
tomorrow. Why not? Let's see if some visual thing is. Can you see it? Yeah, you can. Awesome. I'll just wait for like a minute maybe and we'll get started. But
Yep.
during that time, let's see if some people have joined in. Nope. It's a difficult thing. It's like you're arranging like one of those, like community events and just one people show up and he's like, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he leaves.
Yeah, exactly. It has to be advertised in advance, and now that we have a day picked out that yes, this is probably 1 or 2 days that we're going to do it every single time, then we can let people know that as well.
Exactly. And we'll go live
So-
throughout the year and there's much more fun stuff to come, much more in-depth stuff that you won't get on Instagram, that's for sure, if you're there. And you won't get
That's
from other
right.
designers.
These are all very, very unique ticks and opinions here. So we
Exactly.
are very opinion based, but opinion also anchored in good data, good
Yeah.
knowledge, good
Informed
research
opinions.
as well, right? But
Exactly.
informed opinions.
What we'll also try to do, which will be like a fun thing, it'll be kind of like a hall of shame. We'll do it for designers. We'll try and find designers who are kind of, dumb to say the least. And we'll check out their opinions. Let's see if they have good
Sure.
opinions or they're just messing around with their experience. I hope my audio is coming clear.
Oh, I think you're talking about Reddit.
Exactly. Reddit is the place to be. Or maybe some LinkedIn, because on LinkedIn, there's a level of comfort in sharing opinions, especially if you have lots of experience. And both are not equated.
Yep.
Experience doesn't equate the right opinions. And so, yeah,
That's right.
I know some people. We'll have to blur out the name part and we'll get into their opinions.
All right.
And today, what we're going to be talking about is understanding the AI landscape from the perspective of a designer. Very difficult subject to kind of talk about because people already have their opinions and they are barely willing to move it. But still, we'll try our best. And here we actually start. Why don't we just get started? Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can
And
see it.
as you can see, the speed, exactly, the speed at which ChatGPT sprints to 1 million users, it's just bonkers. It took Instagram 2.5 months.
Instagram comes in and does that. But ChatGPT just blew everything out of the water, right? 5 days
And-
in, and it's like, it's the thing that's most.
I remember it was probably around GPT 2.5 or GPT 3. It was around that time when I got into all of it. Shout out to Varun Maya. And since we're live, I can even show you. Which is the best part about live is that we don't have to edit it. I just go to this guy's channel. He's been like a mentor. I've enjoyed his
That's
videos,
right.
learned a lot from him, still do. And as you can see, it's very simply, he's like an unfair advantage, right? Take once a day with meals, business, science, technology, and future. So, if you go to oldest.
Uh-huh.
Of course, this is the Meta startup which got me excited. It's him talking about his startup experience and raising funds as one of the youngest founders at that time. And down the line, he is pretty popular now in the AI space of India, and it's quite some months ago now, I'm sure. Around this part, you'll see that he's slowly getting more towards the actual content part as well, and then he starts talking about AI. He also started talking AI with Tanmay Bhatt, who's a very famous comedian. They have a channel, and they haven't uploaded in 4 months, but it is what it is. All about AI, as you can see. I remember watching every video and kind of getting the hang of how AI is moving through them. So that was very interesting. Like directly starting from Suno AI days when it couldn't differentiate between a violin and a guitar, to now making full-fledged songs that's actually better than 80% of real songs. This is not an exaggeration. It actually is that good. So that's just crazy growth, and I'm probably speaking like some 7-8 months ago. So yeah, as you see, ChatGPT. Also, I believe they were probably, because this data is talking about sprinting to 1 million users. I believe there were a million or two people, like 2 million people around in the world probably, who were very excited and were like a tight knit community. So the moment it happened, it was like fireworks. It just erupted in the scene, and people just
Yep.
you know got to it. And as
Yep.
funny as
Yep.
that is, that there can be so many people interested in a product before we even start.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's
Absolutely.
a very very close knit community.
And I think this group of 1 million is definitely considered the early adopters.
Exactly.
But the funny thing here is that these early adopters weren't all just tech savvy people. It was also the people, maybe on Twitter, that saw a quick preview of what the interface looks like. So I think it has to do a lot with the interface. It's literally just like a search bar.
Mhm.
You type in what you want, you ask it really any question, and you click the button, and it starts answering it. And it's like a Google. It's like a Google. It's just like 10x power.
Mhm.
Weren't just the tech savvy people. I wonder if there's any statistics on that. But for me, I feel that there was
True,
so
true.
many people like that, and people of all ages could go in and quickly
Mhm.
try it out.
That makes sense. The interface thing that you're talking about, this is the biggest unlock of AI in general. And if you're not part of the ecosystem, then you wouldn't know. But if you were, then you would know that actually Google should have won the race. There shouldn't have been any race,
Yeah,
honestly. If Google actually was proactive and they actually released the software, there wouldn't be any race. Google would have won it with
that's
HiveMind
right.
being the main research thing. And so it's very interesting how they took the risk. ChatGPT, OpenAI basically took the risk as a startup, and we have all seen this, right? Fast-moving startups breaking the bank for big conglomerates, the incumbents, and so
Yeah,
it's very,
that's
in
right.
a way, it's good to see like proper competition coming in, kicking in with Microsoft
Yeah.
backing them, and the interface was the biggest unlock. It's the biggest unlock that we are now able to actually communicate with AI in a very simple chat interface. And so, yeah, we'll talk about that. But today, what we're going to be talking about is images, which is AI imagery. And as you see, there's so many, right? Links after links, you will keep seeing it. There's most famous one being probably Midjourney. After that, there's Leonardo, which is pretty good. There's what's the other one? Ideogram. But what we started on was this one. Let's see if it's the same. It's been so many. Yeah, it's the same. Crayon. This was DALI 1. Now, what is a
Right.
very competent model, a very competent, text to image model. This was DALI 1, or even before 1 in a way. This was called Crayon, and I remember I was with my mom on the terrace. We were just taking a stroll, and I get this notification on Twitter, like 3 4 notifications, same thing. I was following a few guys, and they posted like around the same time saying AI is here, image is here. I'm like, what? What do you mean image is here? Checked it out, and they were like, just go to www.crayon.com and just type any text, it'll give you an image. I'm like, huh, that can't be possible, and if it is, I'll try and trick it. So I wrote a blue, what did I write? An orange on a blue background, just to
Okay.
confuse it. And
Yeah.
it didn't get confused. I'm talking about the first iteration.
Nope.
That was just so. It felt so awkwardly surreal. Like I have no clue.
What if you wrote that again today?
An orange in blue background. Let's see. And this is version 3. While it's happening, let us see if I can find like images across mid-journey versions. That will be a fun, like just to show the level at which it has improved. Yeah, I mean this one works. All on Reddit, man. Reddit is amazing. Yeah, just take a look. Take a look. Midjourney V4 was when people went crazy.
Yeah.
People were like, oh, we're up to something now. We're on to something. This is pretty, I don't know, Van Gogh meets Starlight, whatever. This one again couldn't get the face right. Face issues. The face looks immaculate, but probably generated, right?
Yeah.
And this one, people were like, okay. Yeah. This one was the jump. V4 to V5. And now as we can see, there's proper water droplets on the face and all. So this, if we can find, maybe we can find it. Like an entire thread. I think this is better on Twitter, where we can find actual threads where people have, just shown all the comparisons. I mean, look at this. How do you create this?
It's incredible. It looks like straight out of a movie.
Imagine actually going on Illustrator or Photoshop and creating this. How much money will you take for
it?
This,
Would take
Gurjinder?
you too many cycles. It would take you too many cycles. It would take you paying out a very specific graphic artist to get this done, right? Now that goes into graphic artists for one use case. Are they going to be replaced by AI? What do you think?
Replaced is a interesting term, because they can be, but now here's the question. For example, if you're looking at this art piece, it looks very amazing, right? How much time will it take for you to create it? What do you think?
I could never create it. I would keep on going for maybe 100 hours and trying to perfect
very
every single
detailed,
piece,
right?
but I don't think I get anywhere near.
Like, look at this. Like even the
Very
ceiling here
Yep.
has different lightings because of how the steel has been used.
Yep.
Creating something like this would take easily.
This has to
hundreds of
be, this has to be something that you don't do in Illustrator, maybe in some kind of 3D model
Exactly.
app or gaming, game development app,
Yes, like a
where
Unity
the
or a
computer
Blender.
can handle a lot of that lighting. Exactly.
But still, this is very impressive of an art piece that will take hours and will take a lot of money to be created. And if you can use AI as it's improving just so much, why not? They're talking about a Dyson sphere, which is a sphere that covers the moon and uses the moon's energy. Not moon, the sun. Yeah, the sun. Yeah. It won't be like this, of
And
course.
it'd be like greatest engineering feat
Yeah.
in history.
I have a friend here in the chat, Arman. How's it going, brother? Keep watching, because this will be fun for you as well, I'm sure.
All right.
The thing is, actually, the Dyson sphere doesn't look like this, how they're preparing to build it, but AI only has understanding of something in a sphere, and so it creates this. But all the funsies aside, if we actually go into learning more, why don't we actually start on, okay, so let's look at this, even this. It's fascinating, right? It can now almost recreate Rowan Atkinson almost perfectly. Hmm. Now that's an improvement. Yeah, look at this. This is proper. This is even more realistic, but this is even usable. And there's now
Yeah.
very specific fine-tuned models that are being used to, emulate models like real-world models. And so, be it product photography, be it advertisement, brand marketing, in all of those aspects, we'll see AI being used because it's just so much more economical, right? That way. And in terms of whether it'll replace people or not, we'll get to that. But let's talk about ethical. Gurjinder, why don't you act as, the I'll go two panel view on this. Why don't you act as like someone with like the benefit of the doubt? I mean, you acted someone
Okay.
with benefit of the doubt till now. Why don't we go on the devil's advocate side and you challenge me on the ethics of using AI as a designer? I'll try and see what I can do.
Okay.
Right. So
Challenge you my
what's like the
best
common criticism?
ability.
Yeah.
So, common criticism is that, okay, you have AI and you're going to start hiring AI agents, and most likely then you're
Hmm.
just going to fire all the workers. So, where do the workers go? You know, what job do we have in an AI world? Do we even,
Hmm.
what career do we have? Do we have to go back to school? Do we have to keep learning? What do we have to learn to actually not get replaced by AI? That's the number one question.
Well, you took the most important question at first. Why don't we keep it at last? That'll take a long time. How about we talk about, the ethics of
That'll
using
take a
AI?
long time.
That'll take a long time. And we don't have an answer for it
Sure.
actually.
Okay. Ethics. So when we look at what we have an understanding of
We
at the
both know
base
the
level
creator,
is
right?
that,
The LinkedIn
well,
creator. You know who I'm talking about, right? The guy who was like
which
almost against AI. He's another designer who was
maybe
almost against
not.
AI. Not?
Maybe
Okay.
not. You'll have
So
to
he was
show me
just
the name. Maybe WhatsApp to me on the side.
all right, I'll do that. So
Okay,
yeah,
let's see.
I remember telling you about it that kind of got in a scuffle with him in the comments.
Yes, I know
Hmm.
this person. Okay. Yep, I do know this person. This person makes the rounds.
Yeah,
Very good creator,
very good.
but I hear that
But someone maybe who
you guys
doesn't
have a bit of a
at the core,
an argument, and
hmm
and it's yeah, and it's good. I think having such debates is a that's why these platforms. But getting to the
exactly.
ethics question, right? Um,
Hmm.
where is AI getting its data, and is it attributing to those people? Is it breaking copyright law? Is it giving people royalties on items that it's using? Is it creating stuff?
Hmm. And this question becomes very pivotal because this is like the main thing about designers, right? The copyright. Like, if I've created it, do I own it? And I mean, the IP contract is probably the thickest contract. And so the reasoning behind it will be much more easier to explain if I actually go to, explaining how AI will work. So let's go into some image diffusioning and let me kind of see if I can find, yeah, got it. Yes. So people have issues with, usage of data and how AI companies have used data to create stuff without any attribution. But let me see if I can find any neural network understanding, because that's like the fundamental. Okay, these are too complex for people probably,
Correct.
but still we can we can try. Yes. So as you can see, hmm, a dog. How do we know as kids when we're on this when we have just come on this planet? We don't know what a dog is. We don't know anything logically, right? But the way we
No, we don't.
understand that four-legged animal is a dog is maybe our mom telling us, "Hey, there's a doggo," and then maybe she says, "Hey, there's a dog." Dad says, "Hey, stay away from whatever." I don't know. I can't think of a dog name. Boxer. Stay away from boxer, right? And Your little brain then understands, because your mom, your dad, and your mom again on a different circumstance is pointing to the same dog. You understand, oh, that is a dog that I should stay away from. So that's two understandings, right? That is a dog, that is not a human, that's not like my mom or my dad, and that is someone who I should stay away from. But my mom and dad are going close to him. Why is it? So maybe is it that, okay, I have to stay safe. The more you grow up, the more you understand that, oh, this is how an animal works and this is how a human works, and there's how you can build a common relationship and all of that. All of this information we get about a dog, but the next moment we don't confuse that information for a cat or a tiger or a leopard. They are all four-legged animals, but we have clear differentiation in our mind of all of these things, and we are not paying zoos any intellectual property rights for understanding it. Neither are we paying any copyrights to the books or the images on Google or anything. And that's the core of AI, which is information is democratized. If you put a price tag on information when it comes to training data for AI, it becomes very unethically punishing, especially not because it wouldn't have been this critical if it would have been a random technology that could have been shelved. But an a technology of this capacity that's as transformational as not even internet, I would say as transformational as electricity. Think of a world with electricity versus without it. Two different. Like it's just we can't compare, right? It's like we would have been just tribes before electricity, right? And so, I mean, not really. Electricity wasn't there, and they were kings and all. So that's true. But you get the point, right? So it's as transformational. And the beautiful thing is, just like humans understand data, exactly a data engine, like an AI engine, understands data. Here you can see as well. We see a dog. See layer 1, pixels, values detected, edges identified, the edges are combined, the features are identified, and then combination of features helps us identify that it's a dog. This is as simply put, honestly, because it's actually a very more complex thing in the technology world, and maybe I can even explain it a bit. So how we do AI training is we take supervised learning. So I'll very simply explain it. Okay? Supervised learning is you telling the AI machine that this is a picture of a thing. It's called dog. This is another picture of a dog. Another picture of a dog. You give thousands of pictures of dogs labeled as dogs. And then after doing it thousands of times, you give the AI machine an image of a cat and you ask it to analyze what is it. It can't do it. And then if you give it another image of a dog, it's like, oh, it's a dog. If it says a cat is a dog, then you are like, okay, maybe it needs more understanding. But then you feed it images of cats labeled as cats, thousands of it. And then it can differentiate between a cat and a dog simply, which is the place where we were getting, those comments that AI can barely differentiate between Will Smith eating noodles and actual noodles, right? It was at that stage when these types of learnings were happening. And then comes unsupervised learning, where you give just tons and tons of animal data and it itself understands it. That, oh, all these four-legged animals, this one is a very big fat one with lots of fur. That's not a dog, that's a bear. And then it can differentiate between a dog and a bear. And it can find all those patterns in the world. But then you kind of make sure that it's even more polished. How do you do that? Well, reinforcement learning. Kind of the final step. And there you ask the AI, what is it? Let's say it's an image of a dog and it says camel. You tell it wrong. You kind of punish it. Just like we do with humans exactly, which is the most interestingly weird part. Just like we teach a kid that, hey, that's a dog, that's a cat. Then you ask the kid, hey baby, what's that? And he's like, it's a dog. If the baby says it's a cat, then you're like, hey, that's a dog. You punish it, right? And exactly if the baby says the right answer, you give him or her a chocolate, which is exactly how a reinforcement learning works as well. The moment there's a correct prediction, it gives a reward to the system. And that's how an AI machine learns. It's exactly like how a human learns. The only thing is the data we learn from, we feel like it belongs to us. It belongs to our eyes. Eyes are the receptor here. And because our eyes see everything at any point in time without any copyright to it, without anyone claiming, hey, why did you look at that? No one's saying that. You can just look at stuff. But it's the same thing with an AI. Logically, an AI just looks at stuff that we give it. And now you can say, why do we give it our data? If we don't, what data do we give it? It needs data to learn, lots of data to learn, because it doesn't have a brain which has evolved for millions of years. And so this is the brain that we're creating. And so as simply put, that is AI. AI learns just like us. And so the data, if we want to make AI, we have to use data, and that data has to be us because we're trying to represent us and use AI in our world. We can't give it random Minecraft data. That doesn't work. When because it's gonna be simulated in our world. So that's the first question. I'll drink some water.
Very
Let
good
me know your opinions.
explanation.
Yes.
But
Mm-hmm.
now tell me, who gives these companies the right to then sell subscriptions of the data that who knows where they collected it from, and
Exactly.
package it and
Exactly.
sell it as a product? And what gives these corporations the right, these businesses? I mean, you talked about how AI gets its learning in, right? And it's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
modeled right after the way that nature does it, the way that humans do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's the building part. Now we're getting to the commercialization part. So, what allows me as a, maybe a person on social media to just play around and on Grok, and maybe I just create an image, that's fine, and I can repost it because I'm just an individual person. What gives businesses the right to use that for their marketing, that for their advertising? What gives Coca-Cola the right to create a whole damn AI commercial that they never go back and pay the copyright to, you know, where that data was collected?
Exactly. This is what we were talking about. People weren't happy, that's for sure. Like, yikes, this sucks. Yes. Very pivotal question, which is why or how can then companies make money from it, right? Before we answer that, we'll see if the audio is clear and everything. We'll just do a quick tech check. We'll be back
Yes.
in a minute. Yes. Audio is
Hello,
fine,
hello.
everything's fine. The question is,
Great. We are back.
how can AI make money? Why are AI companies allowed to make money, right? So let me see if I can frame an
Yeah.
answer the same way.
And why are the businesses that use those AI products
Mhm.
allowed to use those AI products?
Exactly. So I think I've got something in my mind. Let me cook. All right. So if we were on the path of explaining things from the angle of how a human understands, right? Because it's neural network. That's what it is. And we'll stick around, guys. If you're actually watching the live, I'm sure like there are not a lot of that's what I want to say. There are not a lot of live viewers, and so yeah, if you're watching the recording later, just stick around because I'll actually try and explain how an AI model works to create images from text. But before that, as humans, we grow up, right? And then throughout those years of growing up till we are, let's say, 18, we take so much of information. And if logically, Gurjinder, if we were to compute the amount of information we take in, that'll probably be like, I don't know, like trillions and trillions of GB probably. At least 1 trillion GB, I'm sure, right? It'll be huge data, the amount of data we
Yeah,
compute we like intake.
not even GB. I think you just get into terabytes at that point.
Millions of terabytes, trillions of GBs, or quintillions of kilobytes. I don't know, whatever that is, but yeah. So the beautiful thing is our brain knows what to keep and what to not keep. Right? The brain doesn't get fried up. The brain knows how to process things, and it processes. It finds patterns, and then it helps us create outputs. When we were kids, we were taught letters A, B, C, D till all the 26 letters, and then someone came and told us, "Hey, what are you eating, Timmy?" Timmy was like, "Apple." Like, exactly, APPLE. It's called an apple. And then young Timmy was like, "Oh, I learned a word. Wait, I've been talking in sentences anyway," which is very interesting how we're taught. We're taught the academics later, but first we learn to speak anyways. And so then Timmy can make a sentence. Timmy grows up. Then Timmy is like, "Oh, I can understand biology, chemistry, science. Maybe I should go for engineering." And instead of Timmy, I could have said Brad. I mean, that's the same way with me. Then Timmy or Brad goes into engineering, and then he becomes an engineer or a coder or an illustrator or a designer. And then later in the job force, in the world of employment, Timmy is given money and Timmy creates graphics for Coca Cola. Now, where did Timmy learn that yellow and white looks good on red? We don't know. We're not attributing that. But Timmy is someone who can use that information in his head to create an output that Coca Cola can use to make money. Timmy is making money as well while creating that. Exactly how AI works, right? If you're an AI company, what you're creating is a brain that can help, is a brain that can help create images, create outputs, and those outputs are viable in a market just how a human is viable in a market. Outputs or productions from a human is viable, it's used, right? But how does the human create it? Using a brain, right? So how about we create another brain? All these actually, Gurjinder, all of this entire chatter wouldn't have happened if the scientists told, "Hey, we are using sodium, calcium, and all the chemicals, creating DNA molecules and using muscles and tissue fibers all artificially, and we are actually creating a core brain inside a lab in a glass tray. Come and watch it. Watch it live." If they would have done that, people would have been like, "Oh, it's a genius creation." Nobody would have had a problem with it because we understand it. It's close to us. We have never seen a brain, of course, and nobody would want to see a brain, right? Very graphic. But still, we understand it. Because of evolution, a brain is still closer to us. A raw flesh is closer to us. Blood is closer to us than technology because we've been around it for millions of years, right? And so, when people say that, "Oh, there's a software that you can pay $23 for, $19 for, and it does your work," it's far distant. But how about I told you, "Hey, there's a guy in London who can create blogs for $20. You would have been like, "Huh, sure, there is. What about?" Then we wouldn't have a problem. And so fundamentally, if we look at how AI works and we understand that it's very much how a human brain works, at least they're trying to mimic those qualities. It's not exactly like that, of course, because we don't understand our brain anyways. But mimicking those neural pattern matching abilities, which is also a core indicator of intelligence, by the way, pattern matching. Pattern matching, amount of data you have, and amount of data that you can actually pull in to actually compute at one point in time. For AI, it's just tremendous. For us, it's not that much, at least in the live thing. But yeah, we have other things that are very much helpful that AI won't have ever. And we'll see if we can get to that part of the conversation, which is how do we defeat AI if we have to. But what do you think of this? Was this convincing?
I think it was pretty convincing. And you keep going back to the builder definition, right? Talking about how the thing works, how the models were created, how they've
Mhm.
learned over time.
Exactly.
What I'll challenge you again
Hmm.
is saying the regular person, the blue collar worker, the one who doesn't care much about technology, do you
Hmm.
think they really care about what is under the engine, or are they just going to drive the car?
They're gonna drive the car.
Most of society still probably doesn't know how a car works. They don't know what the combustion is. They don't know where the exhaust pipe is,
The
where
simple
what
formula
the
of
air coming
pressure,
out of that
right?
means.
We have so much of mental pressure. How many people know the simple formula of pressure,
Yes,
right? Force by area. How many people know that? People forget.
nobody.
Hmm.
Nobody. So let's bring this conversation then away from a perspective, and let's bring it to just the regular person perspective.
Hmm.
If you were to
Yes.
tell somebody that,
Let's dumb it
hey,
down. Hmm.
why should I not be scared of AI?
Hmm.
And is it going to replace me eventually? Then
Exactly.
we'll segue into that soon.
Yes. We'll do that then. Because a lot of people think when you will see like core technologists and all, when they talk about these things, maybe even a Satya Nadella, for example, if he does. So this is what I was kind of going through before we went live, which is, where is it? Yeah, scaling laws. And how on the log scale it's been very almost challenging, but now it's an interesting thing with O1. We are seeing that our parameters just didn't have enough data. They were bigger and bigger, but we were even not utilizing that space. And so data is now an issue and all of those things. But that's not the that's not something that the normal person cares about, right? What does a normal person care about and what to understand about it? So ignoring what's your opinion on AI is here to stay because it's a fundamentally brilliant technology that now that we have created it, now that we know how to create it, you can't stop it. It's like one of those things that once it's here, it's here. Once we understood how to make fire, we never forgot it. Once we understood how to domesticate animals, we never forgot it. Right? Once we understood how to create electricity, how to use internet, we never forgot it. And we'll never forget how to use AI. The the issue is for the normal person, it's just a software that's charging someone some money to just take away my work, at least on the face of it, right? That's very scary. And how do we deal with it, right? So the way to deal with it is probably the best understood by how the leaders talk about it. Maybe a cred or a Google, Gemini, anyone, any leader, any design leader, AI leader talks about it the same way, which is consider it a drunk intern. Yeah, that's what. One with a lot of information, like he or she or it has read millions of books, pages, images, anything that you can think of. But he's drunk. He doesn't care. He's just there. But then you like waking up and you're like, hey, what's the formula for angular momentum? And he's like, yeah, whatever, F by ma, something, right? And then it just goes back to its slumber. AI is like that. And on a brighter side, if we have to talk about what is one thing that as doesn't matter if you're a blue collar worker, if you're Elon Musk, or if you're a beggar on the street, even then you are a human. And we have to understand that AI will never become a human. And what do I mean by that? Which is we underestimate how much powerful we are, how much capable we are as humans, and how different, how astronomically different we have been from animals. Because it's a very recent phenomena. We still feel, as I told you, right? We never thought of a dog epidemic. That there are so many dogs in the world. Dogs will just come and bite us. So many dogs are there, they will just kill every human. That never happened. We've been around animals for millions of years. We don't feel a primal level of existential threat with animals. We never will. Even if there's 10 elephants across your entire colony, you won't feel like, oh, humans will die. You might feel like, oh, I'll die. And you take precautions. Which will never feel like, oh, the human race will die because of elephants. Because we have handled all of those things. This is the first time that technology feels or looks or appears as competent as us. More competent than majority people, which is the scarier part, right? We have had technology for years. An MS Word far more capable than a typewriter. A keyboard and MS Word far more capable than a person writing with pen and paper. Or a Photoshop far more capable than a painter in a way. Not really, but you get the point. So We have had technology. This is the first time I can just put some text and be on the brink of taking someone's job, which is scary. But if I say that this is not scary and you shouldn't be scared about it, then I'll just be lying. It'll just be consolation. Because we should be scared. And people are scared. When I say people, general people, sure. Even the top leaders, they're all scared. Nobody knows what's gonna happen. And interestingly, this can, feel like fear mongering in a way. That if nobody knows, then where do we go, right? What do we do? What do we learn? But think about it. When electricity was first discovered, people didn't have any clue what to do with it. Just didn't have any clue. Right? It's something that you can't touch, you die. You immediately die a very bad death. Okay. What do we do with it now then if we can't touch it? Fire, at least we could see it. We could at least touch it like this and die. Electricity, you just go, oh, dead. What do you do now? Right? Then scientists understood that, oh, we can wrap it in a wire and transmit it. Oh, we can transmit data through it as well. Oh, we can use it to make something usable. We can create functionality around it. We can use electrical energy, turn it into other forms of energy. Microwave, right? A heating or a vacuum. And so heating coils and all of those. Slowly and slowly we saw where we are now. And now with AI as well, we'll see a revolution, a world that we can't comprehend right now. We can't. So there's no reason for us to think of it. So that's my advice. If you're a normal blue collar worker who drives an Uber, who works at a restaurant, who's a manager at a company, don't try to think, oh, how will the AI world look? We don't know. Right? That's a very delirious format of thought because it can take you in a very pessimistic thought process. It can even make you not want to learn AI. So don't go into all of those things. Just simply learn the fundamentals and use the tools. Do what majority of early adopters are doing or what the design leaders are telling you. If Jensen Huang tells you that coding will be obsolete in a couple years, just maybe don't only learn coding. Learn coding. I'm not saying don't learn coding. Don't only learn coding. Maybe try and leverage Bolt, Vercel, V0, Claude in your workflow. Try it. Right? It's free as well. Majority of these tools. Why majority? Apart from Midjourney, everything is free, right? Everything has a free version. So, yeah, why not? Just at the core, understand that don't try to predict at the first layer. Don't try. Second, understand the fundamentals. Understand the basics. Use it. Don't have innovations, don't have judgments for it. Just like you shouldn't have judgments for people. If you have judgment for the entire software design community, how would you live in this world? You tell me. Right? That makes sense, right, Gurjinder? If you have judgments for any group of people,
that would be very difficult.
It's very difficult living with biases, right? And so just simply understand AI. Try and give AI its fair share of understanding and use it. That's what I'll tell people. Use it. Use the fuck out of it. And yeah, don't fall behind. That's the goal.
So we have a couple minutes left. Very quickly, I want to chat on and bring it back into the designer realm now.
Yes.
Why did the chat interfaces become the main way and shape and form of presenting these AI products, and where do we imagine?
Yes, totally. That'll be superb. So this, okay. Yes, we'll go through it quickly, and this is just a simple image to kind of explain you how images are created, which is something I wanted to talk about as well in the format of how we work, So you see an AI, just as I told you, right? Cat images of a cat labeled as cat, it is fed to the model, and so this is exactly how it's done. This is what it's fed, and it tries to forward diffuse it. See, it's adding noise to it, right? And noise, more noise, and we all have seen this, right? If you have used older days televisions, we all saw this. On some channel it will happen, right? This is basically a no signal. This is where it's just noise. And then an AI is taught to do it opposite. It denoises all the pixels to create a cat. And so this is what an AI starts with. Let's see if this image is there, by the way. Oh, it didn't work. Come on. Let's see. What's happening? Why is it too much traffic? That's their issue now. Too much traffic, huh? Come on. I've been here since day one and they're telling me too much traffic.
Crayon.
Too much traffic. I've been here since day one.
Mid-Journey has always been.
Exactly. But yeah, so when we type anything, it starts with this, the entire blank canvas. And then now it has understood how to denoise it from this to this to this to this to finally reach a close-up of a dark cat with black and white stripes in a gray background. Now it's doing this. And every denoise is different, as you can understand. Just the sheer amount of computations that you can create from this, it's very understandable, right? And so let me see if I can find what we would see. Various noise levels. It's tested at every noise level, by the way. It's taught that this is a cat with the prompt at this noise level. Bit more noise, bit more noise, bit more noise, complete noise. It's taught at every level. And that's how it understands, and then it reverse diffuses. See? This, predicted noise, then it goes to this. You guys can actually try and understand diffusion from this website, stablediffusionart.com. And as Gurjinder asked me to talk about, I'll get into this, which is the future of AI. One of the things that we'll talk about sometime later is AI UI, which is AI creating entire UI things, like entire UI of apps, turn product ideas into concepts instantly with Gen AI. So this is very much scary for UI designers, and it's very much scary for people. But what we have to understand is the chat interface is so revolutionary because this is how we interact with apps, and it has been like it for all these years, right? So when we could interact with it so simply, it just became so popular, and people understood it, and they were all like, oh, that is the unlock. That is the unlock to make sure people adopt AI, right? Because even if you go to a stable diffusion now, let me see if I can like show it very quickly. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Stable diffusion. Let me see if I can open stability AI somewhere. This is the first time it's taking time to load. But see, there's concepts like this already. When you go to the page that says download weights, if you don't know what is an weight, how do you do that? And so let me see, I'll show a stable diffusion UI if possible. So for all this time, yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. This is how stable diffusion still works. Not only diffusion, any diffusion model works. So guys, for people who might not know it, stable diffusion is just a company, nothing else. Diffusion is the way it works. Diffusion models, these are called diffusion models. See?
Yep.
If you don't know sampling, how do you know a difference between a DPM fast and a DDIM? Width, height, so many things, right? CFG. And so they were like,
yeah, that's where it gets complicated and it gets, you know, non-user friendly. But the search bar became the most user-friendly object. And it was the easiest to use because it was just like Google search.
Exactly. And people are not as irritated with wrong results as they are with not being able to do the first action itself. Right? People don't mind bad results as with images specifically.
Yeah.
And so, and specifically
because they can just go back in and type it again.
Yeah, you can just do it again. Right. And especially the core community understands it as well, right? The first early adopters, first 100,000, 10,000 people, they understand it that, oh, it will be very shit. Very shit. As I'm a football fan, guys. You know who I'm impersonating. Yeah. If I talk much, I'm in big trouble. Yeah. This is where the next part or the next revolution will be in AI, which is AI will be created dynamically when you type something. You type in anything regarding your product, a food delivery app for Kormangala, a food delivery app for Queens. It knows the map of Queens.
Yep.
It knows the map of Kormangala. It knows all the restaurants. Boom. Just collab it and just create an interface. Now, how do you use it? That's the important part, right? How do you actually make it usable? The next revolution that people are predicting will be in APIs. Even stronger APIs. For people who might not know API is basically connecting just the hardware to the software. As simple as that. or the software to
Correct.
you. So for example, there's an Uber. Uber as a software, right? Uber is connected to Google Maps. Uber is connected to you. When you type something, it goes to Uber. Uber goes to Google Maps, understands the information, understands the traffic, understands everything. Uber has its own software that computes where are the taxis and everything, gives that information to you. And this, all of these things that I'm showing, right, the bridges, these bridges are APIs basically, application programming interface. Those interfaces will get even stronger, and now I won't require an Uber app. That's my hunch. That's not me being intelligent, that's the hunch of leaders, right? Which is we won't
right.
require an app anymore. So if you're just a UI designer, I don't know how the world will pan out, because why do I need a UI? If I have a LAM, a large action model, which is the next thing, where the model itself can take actions because it has those permissions, then very simply put, when you say, hey, it's just on your phone anyways, Gemini is on the phone, right? So you're like, hey, I want a cab from Kormangla to Queens. That doesn't work actually, because we're thousands of kilometers away. Kormangla is in Bangalore, India. Queens is in New York. But let's say I want a cab from Kormangla to Queens. How do you do that? Previously, you would have been like, enter location, Kormangla, destination location, Queens, search. Okay. Why do you need an app for that? Just the LAM just will understand the information, and it will itself create a dynamic UI there itself for you. And the moment you stop it, the moment the ride is done, the interface just dissolves. Right? And what it required was just an API from the LAM, from the model to Uber. Uber software is there in the backend. That's there. Uber as a company survives. Google Maps as a company survives. Uber screens, the Uber product, the Uber app on which you use it. That's probably not needed. There will be a Gemini or chatgpt. Everyone will have strong interfaces. You can just type it there, or maybe something else will come in, like a Rabbit R1, for example. We saw it. We both didn't find it as appealing, but it's still a very fun, cute technology, and it's created by teenage engineering. So of course it'll be, it's something that we would want to buy. It's always that with.
It would be improved later on.
Very much. So it's an LAM.
That's
and
right.
Now you can, let's say, 5 years later or 2-3 years later, just on your Rabbit R1, you can, hey, book me a cab from Kormangla to Queens. It will give you just 3 information: cab 1, cab 2, cab 3. You book cab 1, done.
That's right.
Very simple. You don't need a UI. So that's the next prediction, is AI UI. In terms of the design space, I'm saying. What do you think?
Well, it's been a wonderful conversation. I think we can talk more on the UI aspect and what UI and visual designers now in the AI world, and I think that'll be our next conversation.
All right, guys. Hope you can hear me. And yeah, so that is that. And we had a tech glitch at the end. But that's fine, because this was a superbly fun conversation. Hope you guys learned a lot about AI. And yeah, tell me in the comments what you think, because we have lots of things to talk about, lots of opinions. And, follow us on all our socials. I'm a brand designer and strategist with understanding of technology. Gurjinder is a brand designer and strategist as well. We have both of our socials plugged in. So yeah, go and follow us there, and it'll be a fun journey. So stick around, subscribe actually. We will do a lot more fun lives throughout the year. Hope you guys had a fun time, and thank you.